If you told me nearly a decade ago that Idubbbz himself, the content cop, would he himself get content copped, I would have laughed at you and said, what are you talking about? Because I hadn't seen a content cop yet. But ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we are living in that timeline. And as for the silver lining of what I'm talking to you guys about today, I kind of like the new content cop. That officer is known as Cameron. And our new sheriff in town has already given more money to charity than Creator Clash 2. The bar was not high. But before we jump into today's video, I gotta flip a coin. I got the quarter right here. Go ahead and call it heads or tails. And here we go. Oh yeah. It is tails. You can't see it, but that is the tail side. It's really pretty and artistic. If you called tails, congratulations. I am now going to humbly beg you to subscribe and potentially like this video if I am persuasive enough. Pretty please. I don't know why getting on my knees and just being a head down here gets you guys to subscribe more, but it works. So I'm gonna keep doing it. Maybe I'll cry sometime. If you give a super chat in the comments, I will cry and say your name in the next video. And of course, if you called heads, I will get your ass next video. I pinky promise that. And what I first need to do is go back. What you're watching right now is a re-upload of one of my personal favorite content cops, the one about rice gum. It was so influential for me that I ended up buying one of these hoodies that you just saw. They did like a little Supreme like copy and just put sheep on it. And I own one of these. I'm just not wearing it right now. But you can see even just from the small clips that I showed you that the main focus of the content cops was to be a content analysis, a critique of somebody's content. And Idubbbz would include various skits. In this one, he did a diss track because that was very popular at the time, but he would randomly go in and do this silly stuff. And he had this funny voice. He did random bits, random jokes intermittently throughout the video. And he'd come back, do some more quirky stuff. Look at that. He's, oh my gosh, red paint. Or ketchup, he licked it. And that's what captured the hearts of so many other dudes that were around my age when this stuff was coming out. It was very entertaining and they were very well thought out, and the criticism that he levied against these content creators was usually able to be backed up by his research. This all came to an end when the Fire Nation attacked. And by Fire Nation, I mean Idubbbz developed empathy at the age of 30, and he also wasn't a really big fan of Ethan Klein anymore, someone he'd been friends with for over 9 years. And that brings us to the present day, where he dropped out this Content Cop H3. Now, I really don't think that I need to get into very specific detail. This has been a huge video, as well as a content deputy he released shortly after. And by far, out of all of the content cops that Idubbbz had created, this has been the most poorly received. And there's good reason for that I think a lot of people, you know, kind of articulated. For me personally, there was no goofs and gaffes. And Idubbbz made it very clear early on that the point of this video was that he felt wronged by a friend, and this was him just kind of being upset and making a video criticizing him. Whereas in comparison with literally every other content cop that Idubbbz had made, it wasn't about his personal feelings in terms of like, this person's wronged me or something. It just had to do with the content sucking wiener. Fast forward, it's been almost a month since that content cop came out, and lo and behold, as Idubbbz is seemingly burning to the ground, or at least half of his audience wants to burn him to the ground, out of the ashes rises another content cop. Now, this is Cameron. Now, Cameron doesn't make commentary videos. I think maybe he's done 1 or 2 out of the 200, almost 300 videos that he's made. Mainly, he focuses on making music. But you can see down here, something that's blowing up nearly at 500,000 views in just 2 days here is his content cop on Idubbbz. And if you were ever confused or struggling to really put your finger on the pulse of what bothered you so much about Idubbbz's most recent content cop, you will figure out exactly what you were missing out on by watching this video. I'm not trying to stroke here unnecessarily, but this man deserves his flowers. Let's just start with the intro.
Silence means something. It means that we would like to pause this relationship. Stop it, I'm powerless. No, you have a ton of power. That's exactly what you get for being filthy rich.
What we do here is go back.
Just a good old classic content cop intro, but don't worry, it gets better. I think I want to start first with just him talking about why the most recent Content Cop sucked so much. And he does some other stuff that maybe is just kind of stroking nostalgia. He does the Idubbbz talking like this, which I honestly forgot that he did until this guy like reenacted it. But I think he encapsulates in a much more eloquent way what I was trying to describe earlier, which is why this most recent Content Cop sucked.
This isn't a Content Cop. His Carton Arcs video, as bad as it was more of a Content Cop than this video. This is like an Idubbbz complains. It's a shitty video about his personal feelings on H3. It's poorly edited, it makes horrible points, it's not funny, and again, it just feels soulless. But despite all of this, it's still his best performing video in 3 years.
I think that's it exactly. It wasn't a Content Cop. It wasn't formatted as such. He was just crying about a relationship that isn't doing well, and he's mad about it, and he lost the funny. And it's not like you take away him slurring or doing super edgy humor and suddenly it's not funny. He removes these things and then he doesn't replace it with anything useful. Like this guy right here, Cameron, doesn't slur, like doesn't go around saying the N-word or anything like that, but it's still an incredibly entertaining and funny video. And he does exactly what Idubbbz didn't do, which was criticize the content in that vacuum. Like, it's clear from Cameron, I think a lot of viewers that know what he's talking about, that this sucks, that Idubbbz not being funny, like enjoying that content before, it's angering, it's frustrating. But there's a big difference between like making critiques of content that you used to like, where, you know, in this case, what Cameron's doing, I think that's very different in comparison to Idubbbz's situation, which is like a scorned, lost lover, you know, a friendship broken down, and now he's just airing that out to the public, and why he has issues with Ethan's content now. And also he's coming from this, you know, newfound attempted empathy lens where he's like, oh, you know, you need help, Ethan, at the same time doing the Fortnite dance and all that.
Just say something nice and charitable about him, because I think he deserves it.
I just wanted to say that I respect that you are genuinely yourself on the internet.
When you're being silly, when you are being lighthearted, and just having fun with your friends, I think that is when you're at your best.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up, Ethan.
I'm not gonna do a react content yet, chat.
It feels thinly veiled, and I feel like him calling it a Content Cop was just advertising. Kind of ranting on that, but back to Cameron's video. Intermittently throughout this video, he has those old skits that you would have found typically in a Content Cop, and it's fantastic. It's all fitting the theme. He's using them more as like, you know, title cards, moving the story along with a skit to introduce each chapter. And might I also say, he also does a very good job of encapsulating kind of the downfall of Idubbbz content in recent years, like why people are more jaded to what he's doing now and why people haven't been keeping up with him nearly as much. I thought about doing like highlights of this video, but again, I think he's just dissecting the Content Cop and going through that. And I truly think that I'm just wasting your time by going over highlights. You should just watch this full video. But I do want to include a goofy little clip he did at the end in a chapter named Growth and Change. And in this chapter, he's kind of joking, kind of not, but he kind of outlines the timeline that Idubbbz has set himself up with what he's trying to do, what change and growth has looked like for Idubbbz, and how at a core level doesn't really seem like much growth has been achieved here.
We're gonna take a look at what growing and changing looks like. Losing all sense of irony, not pushing vulnerable people's buttons unless it's beneficial to your career. Don't morally grandstand unless you've grown and changed. Harassment is bad, with one exception. Racism is bad, but anti-Semitism is okay. It's okay if you promote terrorists, but not if you condemn them. America deserved 9/11. Either all of them are okay or none of them okay? No, but some of them are. Having money is bad. I'm being a bit facetious, however, it is pretty clear that while yes, Ian has changed, it doesn't seem like he gained any empathy for anyone other than himself. In fact, I almost argue that Ian is more bigoted now than he ever was. Like, at least before he had the excuse of just making a joke, but all throughout his recent video, he was patronizing all kinds of groups of people.
Altogether, I really agree with his analysis. I think this is a very well put together Content Cop, and I mean that truly. But not only that, but it's also provided more of a benefit to charity than Creator Clash 2 did. And I know the bar isn't very high, like I said earlier, but take a look at this. His video has raised $4,380 to charity. And you can see he even put a little blurb, just a penny will do more than Creator Clash 2. And you can just look to the comment section just to see the positive reviews on this. I mean, he's also sitting at a very good like to dislike ratio as well, but I really like this comment here. The fact that some random 20K YouTuber managed to capture the essence of Content Cop better than the dude who made Content Cop is insane. And someone else here, I don't know who this guy is. He just came in and put on the uniform, kind of just started to work here. I guess he's the new Content Cop now, I'm not complaining. But that wraps up the video today. I'll put a link down to his video in the description below. Please be sure to check this guy out. I hope this is an indication that he is going to make more of these. I know previously he was just really doing music mainly, but he absolutely has a YouTube career if he ends up having a passion for this, because he did phenomenal work with this Content Cop. But that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please be sure to leave a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on Monday for videos. Adios, peace, bye, see ya.